Hello everyone, my name is Mufitra Tenusalihah. Today I would like to tell you about I would like to read to you the article with the title Fourth Habit of Emotionally Strong People. Jadi 4 kebiasaan dari orang-orang yang punya emosional yang kuat. Artikel ini ditulis oleh Nick Wignall di medium.com. Selamat mendengarkan. Most people hear the term emotionally strong and assume that it means the ability to ignore your emotion or not to feel them. But that's wrong. Emotional strength is not about getting rid of difficult feelings. It means you know how to respond to them in a healthy way. For example, being emotionally strong in the face of anxiety means learning to accept your anxious thoughts and feelings rather than constantly running away from them. Being emotionally strong when you're grieving means being willing to feel your sadness and accept your loss instead of distracting yourself from it. Being emotionally strong when you are angry means validating that anger rather than denying it or criticizing yourself. Of course, it's hard work to cultivate a healthier relationship with your emotion, one that allows you to be resilient and strong in the face of painful feeling instead of fragile. But it is possible, and the most effective way to do it is to build consistent habit that promotes a more tolerant, accepting relationship with all your feeling, even the painful one. If you want to become emotionally strong, work to cultivate these 4 habits. The first one is control your attention, not your emotion. Like anything painful, our automatic response to difficult emotion is to try and control them. Usually in an attempt to escape them or fix them. And this tendency to control makes sense given how good at exerting control we are in the most area of life. You're good in exerting control and generating creative solution at work. You're good at exerting control and fixing a leaky drain under the sink at home. You're good at exerting control and asking for help at the grocery store when you can't find something. In many areas of our life, it's helpful and productive to exert control over our problem. But here's the thing. Emotions are not under our direct control. Go ahead and try it. I want you to control your mood right now and make yourself really happy. Or if yourself stop feeling anxious, go ahead and just stop feeling so anxious. Of course, there are ridiculous experiments to run because you don't have a happiness dial you can just adjust at will, or an anxiety button you can just turn off and turn on. You can only control your emotion indirectly, primarily through how you choose your thing and what you choose to pay attention to. For example, if you are feeling ashamed about a mistake you made at work, focusing your attention to replying the details of that mistake over and over again, it's going to make you feel even more ashamed. On the other hand, if you can switch your attention to correcting the problem or learning from it, you will likely to start to feel better much faster. When you try to control things you don't have control over, like your feeling, you will only create more pain and suffering for yourself in the long run. Emotionally strong people take control over their attention and what they choose to focus on. Instead of letting their mind bounce around according to the whims and instinct, they practice holding their attention on the matter and avoid getting sucked into unhelpful thought pattern like ruminating or worry. If you want to be more emotionally strong, validate your emotion and control your attention. Benar banget, ketika kamu punya emosi yang kuat, ya udah validasi emosi, rasain apa yang kamu rasain sekarang dan control attention, gitulah. Crying is terakhir ada quotes dari Charlotte Bronte, I don't know. Crying does not indicate that you are weak. Since birth, it has always been a sign that you are alive. Nangis bukan indikasi bahwa kamu lemah. Sejak lahir, itu adalah tanda bahwa kamu hidup, gitu. Jadi manusia, it's okay kalau to be cry, gitu. The second one is practice compassionate self-talk. Most people associate emotional strength with toughness and being hard on themselves. This makes sense because as children, this is what most of us learn. That if you want to be strong, a strong student, a strong athlete, a strong musician, you had to be strict and hard on yourself in order to achieve. Unfortunately, this toughness approach does not work real well with difficult emotion. And in fact, the harder you are on yourself for feeling bad, the worse you will end up feeling. For example, if every time you feel anxious, you start criticizing yourself for being weak and not strong enough, now you feel ashamed in addition to feeling anxious, which means your overall level of emotion distress is much higher. If every time you feel sad, you judge yourself as selfish or self-centered, well, now you're going to feel guilty on the top of feeling sad. This means that dealing with your sadness in a healthy way and moving on from it is going to be much harder. Here's the bigger point. When you respond to painful emotion with negative self-talk, you train your brain to be ashamed of feeling bad. Emotionally strong people realize that it is actually much more helpful to be compassionate and understanding with yourself when you feel bad. In other words, they practice compassionate self-talks. Now, if you sound a little woo-woo or new agey, it is not at all self-compassionate, simply applying the same standard of the kindness and support that you would give to the friend who was struggling to yourself. For example, if a friend was feeling sad for no apparent reason, you will not tell him to stop being such a baby and get over it. If a friend was feeling afraid, you will tell them they were weak and they should just stop it. True emotional strength comes from the gentleness, not the criticism. Words matter, and the words that matter most are the ones you say to yourself. David Taylor close. The third one is use values, not feelings, to make a decision. Emotionally strong people listen to their emotion but never take order from them. Unfortunately, our culture attitude toward emotion tends to be the one of extreme. Most people see emotion either as silly and to be ignored or gotten rid of, or that they are quasi-mystical experience guiding us toward the true and ultimate in intelligent. In reality, emotions are much more mundane. They are a they are a survival mechanism that adopted over hundreds of thousands of years, and while they're quite useful in some situations, they're just often unhelpful in others. For example, if you are walking across the street, hear the super loud noise, and fear causes you to quickly look and notice a car that is about to hit you, that is a very useful instance of an emotion. But if you are sitting in a meeting, wanting to share a creative idea, but then fear of other people thinking about your idea will be stupid pops up and cause you to hold back. That's not so useful. The point is simply this: your emotion will lead you astray just often as they will guide you. Emotionally strong people know that in the face of difficult decision, it is best to listen to their emotion, but ultimately they use their value and reason to guide their decision, not the emotion when the moment. Think about it. How often will you exercise if you only listen to your emotion and how you felt in the moment and ignore your value and commitment to health and well-being? How many creative projects will you actually produce and finish if you only listen to your emotion and how you happen to feel about creating and ignore your value and commitment to creativity? How many incredible relationships will you pass up if you listen to your fearful feeling about asking someone out and ignore your value and commitment to put yourself out, out there more to find a satisfying relationship? Listen to all your emotions, but don't blindly take order from them. Emotionally strong people are able to resist from the pull of unhelpful emotion because they have spent time discovering and clarifying their value. As a result, they are able to make a decision that are good for them and long term rather than just impulsively acting or on whatever feels easy in the moment. Motivation often comes after starting, not before. Action produces momentum by James Clear. Oke, the fourth one atau yang keempat adalah set and enforce healthy boundaries. It is hard to set and enforce healthy boundaries. First, it feels scary to tell your manager that you won't stay late again to take care of someone else's work. It feels awkward and embarrassing to ask your partner for something different in your sex life. It feels sad to say no to your family member who always asks you a money and never repays you. But it's even harder to live without good boundaries. The chronic stress and burnout that came from always taking on extra work and staying late. The persistent low levels, dissatisfaction, and lack of intimacy that come the habitual frustration, conflict, and resentment that come from reinforcing an unhealthy habit in family member and constantly expecting them to change. Emotionally strong people know that you can be emotionally healthy if you never stand up for yourself and your own wants and needs. Unfortunately, setting and enforcing healthy boundaries is classic short or long-term problem, like eating a healthy diet, studying in school, or investing your money instead of spending it wastefully. What feels easy in the short term does not usually lead to great results in the long run. And what feels difficult in the short term often leads to much better outcome in the end. So, with setting and enforcing healthy boundaries, it's hard to ask you what you really want. It's difficult to say no to people and enforce those boundaries. But here's the thing, just because it feels bad doesn't mean it's bad. Saying no to an overbearing manager or manipulative family members feels bad at the moment, but don't mistake the fact that it feels bad for whether it's good decision or not. If you want to become more emotionally strong, practice communicating your wants and needs assertively and having a courage to set and enforce a healthy boundary. No is a complete sentence. So, all you need to know if you want to become emotionally strong, work to build these 5 habits. First, control your emotion, control your attention, not your emotion. Practice compassionate self-talk. Use value, not feeling, to make a decision. Set and enhance a healthy boundaries. That is for now. Thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.